Here we are on turn 3 of Geronimo. The U.S. ended up being player 1. He was kind of at the low end of the pack, 14 points, second to last. Could be good for him, as long as the Civil War doesn't erupt, which it historically did at this point. And he doesn't have the greatest set of leaders on the board. Miles showing up in Oregon is really cool, but everyone else is kind of so-so. He's got some troops, 15 strength points and a cannon, and some decent leaders in the background, so he may try to bring a couple of columns in to bonus. He's got Pope in California, who would probably just leave there, not ever really move out. He's not going to reinforce them, is what I'm thinking, or not much. Although California is pretty far from anything but Arizona right now in terms of anybody with any strength. All the players picked their tribes. The last couple of players had a little bit of trouble picking one. The tribes are beginning to get weak. There's only, at the end, there's only 2 left that weren't assigned. So we're getting to the point with so many on reservation, and you'll notice everybody who was in prison actually died. With so many on reservation, we're not going to see as many tribes come into play. I don't remember who gets the odd tribes. Probably should go to the person with the most points, because having more tribes actually sucks. First time around we see the standard play of the Navajo, which are kind of cool, running into California. They failed to get the mine, though. Second was the Comanche, who actually succeeded in knocking Texas down, but it's grown back since then. Then we see the Yavapai, who I believe actually succeeded in hitting the mine. I maybe missed it, yeah. And they actually had atrocities and reprisals going, so they got double points for that, which was huge. The U.S. brought Miles down. I think that was on a reaction, actually. He attacked on his actual turn. Played some additional troops in Arizona. Didn't get a great leader there. Sumner, I think. Or no, Sully. Made an attack against, I think, the Cheyenne, dropping them down to possible reservation status. And made a play into Kansas as the next most likely place he's going to play pieces. He hasn't gotten a railroad yet. That would have been the first place to play one. And now we'll go on to this. Oh, yeah, the Arapaho came down and then hit Colorado. We didn't see the Civil War, so it's not coming out this round, even if somebody's holding it. We did see Springfield rifles, though, which give the U.S. a +1 bonus on any combat now. Third time around, and I notice I've been undervaluing settlements all game. I'm just going to let it stand, but they're worth 2 points, not the one I've been giving them. The U.S. players that have come up wouldn't have been as advantaged as they have been for the points they've collected. But honestly, the game is, a lot of decisions are made based on how people are ranked at a given time. So I don't want to just go in and say, oh yeah, you got more points. I think it's more fair to just say, we've been playing wrong. Let's start playing right now. It certainly would have affected decisions a little differently, though. Okay, so what happened? The Bannock, I believe, went into Oregon to attack and failed. The Ute went into Nevada and I think knocked out the other mine. And that's where things would have been different. You wouldn't have seen them hit a mine. They would have hit a village if they could, because they're the same point. That was a 2-point mine. Now, the U.S. player got rid of that mine with the Ghost Towns card. They wanted to do something, so they played that card. Over on the 5th player, who was in the lead before this turn, but may not be anymore, he played the Yuma into Arizona. Miles ended up beating up on them, and they're now eligible to enter a reservation if things go poorly. The U.S., in part, played Miles to do that. They played in Arizona to attack against the Yavapai and dropped them a strength point. And he made an attempt to attack the Arapaho, which failed. And then I believe the Shoshone made an attack that failed in Nevada against the railroad. The railroad over in Kansas disappeared. Apparently it was poorly financed. Nobody actually built track. That's one of the cool cards. And what else do we have? Oh, we have a winter campaign going on, which means evasion is more difficult and painful. If you evade, you lose a strength point. If the Americans pursue, they lose a strength point. So it becomes harder to survive at this point. And we'll see the railroad is in California and Nevada now. That's the California one's forced. The Nevada one is in order to hold on to its statehood better after losing that mine. Arizona is still not quite up to statehood. It'll make it there. Colorado is barely there, which means they probably have to put another piece there. And Texas is barely there, but nobody can really reach it. End of the last round, the exciting thing that happened is the U.S. managed to complete the Transcontinental Railroad going through the South. What else happened? Some fighting in Colorado. The Cheyenne and the column fought, not to any great excitement. We got another mission over in Arizona. We had a couple of tribes agreed to go on reservation rather than lose their strength. How's he doing? Yeah, he will too. Basically, people who were at 1 strength in Arizona, their tribe's going to die. That loses them 2 victory points, I believe. No, 3 victory points. So they would rather throw them onto a reservation. So both the Navajo and the Yuma agreed with the U.S., hey, let us go on reservation so we don't lose points because, you know, you're not really winning, so the extra points for you isn't that big a deal. The questionable thing was allowing the Yuma, who were held by the person who had been the leader, but he's not really in the lead anymore. Player 4 is going to be in the lead with those powerful Comanche, basically, scoring him a lot of points. Alright, I'll finish up the turn. End of the turn, and this was, again, a big turn for the U.S. 2 states, Colorado went over, and Arizona. The Transcontinental Railroad, which I forgot to give points for, that's worth 2, which puts us up to 40. So now the U.S. is in the, or the first player is in the lead after the U.S. He's up to 40 points. Unfortunately, I didn't write down all the tribes that everybody had this turn, which is kind of a shame. So I like to keep track of that just to try to remember where the points came from. Other big points, though, the 4th player with the Comanche pulled his way up to 35 points, which puts him in 2nd. And then the 5th player didn't make bad points. He went up to 32. The 3rd player, the guy with the Cheyenne, managed to make no points this turn. And we're getting quite a healthy pile of tribes on reservation at this point. A couple more guys in prison. Alright, well, we'll go on to turn 4. And we see Sitting Bull on the top of that little pile. Okay.